Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode number 37 of Armchair Keepers of Arcane Secrets. Can you believe, Bob, that we are up to episode number 37?
I can't because I'm not even sure if that's the right number, but we're going to say it is.
According to our calculations, sports fans, we're at number 37.
That's definitely a number that we could be at. I don't know if it's right, but that's okay. As we've stated before, we are arcane keepers, not arcane counters. It's
That's
actually 38.
Is it really?
The slide you just sent me is episode 37. We're on 38.
Welcome, folks, to episode 38. And here's where we are. Now I know that at home you're keeping a diary of what's happening for our various teams. And you know that the Ithaca team
with us?
You know that the Ithaca team has finished Shanghai, but what you don't know is where the hell the Indianapolis team is.
That's right. That's right.
Bob?
We are in Shanghai. We are hot on your heels. Basically, the episode that I will be posting later today, which is 37, not 38.
37 is coming down the pike, kids.
37 talks about your adventures in Shanghai.
Yes,
my last session last Thursday was my adventures in Shanghai, leading up to the confrontation at Gray Dragon Island. So it was a great session. And so, when I finished up last time, Matt, my players had just creepy crawled Ho Fang's mansion and had spoken with Ho Fang at his warehouse, right? The party had split up into two. And
right.
So they had been chased out of the mansion and were running through Shanghai, right? And at Ho Fang's mansion, the team that had interviewed him was leaving, and as they were leaving, they spotted the Dark Mistress there at the warehouse loading up, right? So that's where I picked up, right there. And so what I wanted to do was create some excitement and some tension, right? And so I immediately had some of the players start, deciding what was happening, right? So, it says in the text that there are 30 employees of Ho Fang's warehouse, 30 people working there doing their job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it says that there's some are cultists, right? It doesn't tell you how many are cultists, right? So I decided that up to 1/3 of those people, that 30, would be cultists. So I had one of the players at the table roll a d10, which was going to determine how many cultists there were. So that on that d10 roll, that was an 8. So there were 8 cultists there. So
it could have been a 1. It could have been a 1.
There could have been a single cultist there. But there wasn't. There was 8 cultists, right?
Looking around for his friends.
Exactly. So Ho Fang, as they're leaving, off screen, he gets a call from his mansion saying, "Hey, boss, somebody has broken in and stolen the girl and a bunch of your books and just ransacked the place." And so he's hot. And so he takes off and is accompanied by a number of his cultists, right? And so what I decided to do then was, all right, borrowing a concept that I love from Dungeon Crawl Classics, which is the die chain, right? So, you go with the die chain. So it's a D10. So the next on the die chain is a D8, right? So I had another player roll a D8 to determine how many of the cultists from Ho Fang's warehouse go with him to the mansion, right? To intercept the creepy crawlers. The player rolled an 8. So all of the cultists from the warehouse clear out with Ho Fang to go, into the, to chase the players, right? Leaving my 2 intrepid investigators there at the warehouse to do that. So it's like, okay, what are they going to do? So they start kind of like easing back in to search his office now that he's gone. So as they're doing that, I pull out the plan that we discussed last time, which was Dr. Houston's there, right? So they see him, and at first, I throw the slide up there. It says the man on the boat. It's like, but it's that familiar picture of Dr. Houston that they've seen before.
Did it trigger a remembrance?
And they say, "Who is that guy? Who is that guy?" And so, and then after a minute, they realize it was Houston, right? And so, they, oh my gosh, there's two of them. Pinhew and Houston are both here. What are we gonna do, right? And so it was a great scene. And, so they go in and they start kind of infiltrating that. There's that secret room where the cult stuff is being stored, right? So they discover that, and they start peeking around in there. And they go in and try to, get into that room. But Houston is there, and I'm saying that, they're offloading things from that room onto the Dark Mistress to take them to Grey Dragon Island. And so they confront Houston, right?
Right there.
Right there. It's a verbal confrontation, though. So they give him a talking to, and he's having none of it, right? Again, Houston always has struck me as being the most absolutely arrogant and self-assured of all of the Carlisle.
He's a psychologist, right?
Yes, he's just completely, and he really does think that he is ascending to godhood, right? Complete kook. And so he said, "You just got to go." And they said, "Well, we don't want to." And then I decided, well, okay, I'll have
Houston's there. There are cult members with Houston.
So all the Ho Fang, the cult of the bloody or the bloated woman, they all left with Ho Fang, but I said that the crew from the Dark Mistress, right, was there, right? So
they're friggin' hybrids or some shit.
Yeah, and I told the players that they don't look right. They look sickly because again, there's that radiation there in the Dark Mistress, right?
Yeah.
And so they look all sick and messed up, and so that set them put them at ill at ease, right? So they're there, and Houston decides to cast a spell, right?
Houston's got some badass spells, Bob.
He does.
Of the group, he's got spells where there's none of this opposed power roll bullshit.
Okay, that's a very good point. I'm glad you brought that up because the spell that I picked was Implant Fear. It's like, man, that looks like a good one. He wants to scare these guys off, so he's going to do it. So I had him cast it, and you're right.
It just works. Boom, it works. They fucking run away.
And so I thought, but I honestly don't like that. It seems cheap, right? Because again, it gives them a sand roll. As rules as written, in this spell, there's a sand roll, and it's like if you make your sand roll, you lose 0 sand. If you fail it, you lose D6, and then it goes on to say that you skedaddle, you run away, you go someplace you feel safe, or something to that effect. And it's like, well, I mean, I don't know. I didn't like that ruling, so I changed it a bit so there was an opposed power roll, right? Okay, so Arn, I'm going to give my player a chance.
Now, wait a minute. Houston's got like 175 power.
175 power.
Now, in a case like that, I tell my players that. I'll say, okay, we're making an opposed power roll. Let's see. I have 175 power. And they all squawk.
I did something similar. I said that, again, levels of success, right?
Yeah.
And so I said, all right, you have to get into, and I rolled and I say, all right, this guy he can roll a 35 and get an extreme success, right? It's a monstrous, right? And so, it's like, okay, opposed power roll, you have to, if I'd rolled poorly, maybe, but I didn't. I got an extreme success.
Yeah.
And so it's like, all right, you're running away. And so that happened. It was fine. It really, it allowed that situation to be diffused without combat, which is what I was hoping for.
Right.
All right. Now we switch scenes, right? And I was running this at a frantic pace, right? And we switched scenes over there to Hope Fang's mansion, and what's happening then. And so I had forgotten actually that the players mostly had escaped. They had gotten out and jumped into cabs and escaped back to Mr. Moo's house, right? With the exception of Jack Brady, who left with Choi Mi Lin, that the girl he got from the box.
Mei Ling, yeah.
Mei Ling, is it? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so he escaped with her and was going to meet his contact, right? I can't remember his name. The firm action
guy.
Or
something.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Two men. That's right.
I got it here. You keep talking. I'll look for it.
So he was going to go meet him, but if you recall, one of the players, Yalisha, thinks that she is Queen Nitocris, right? And so
You should change that nameplate to Queen Nitocris, and you put it in
the
front
other
of the
players don't know that she thinks that yet.
Oh, crafty.
This player keeps everything very, very close to his chest.
Right.
And so he is going to chase Jack Brady and try to kill Jack Brady because he thinks Jack Brady is a loose cannon, which he is. He is also a cannon.
Here's my illustration of Jack Brady. You see that?
That's great. No, that's perfect. So Jack Brady is no pushover, right? As Yalisha found out. So Yalisha goes up to him and tries to hit him with the sickle that she has stolen from Ho Fang's mansion, right? The limb-lopping sickle, right? And it's like she misses, just misses.
Sounds like a Viking saga.
So what are you doing? And so Jack's like, "What are you doing? Cut it out!" And she goes, "Ah!" And so she goes back. And so at that point, it becomes a fighting thing, and he is deadly. He has like a 90 dex. He has a D6 damage bonus. I was like, well, this isn't going to end well. And so again,
we can just knock her out because all that damage from fist can just be like fake-o knockout.
It absolutely
damage.
was 9 points damage, one shot, knocked her clean out.
Nice.
Knocked her out. What was that all about? Jack's, again, he takes it in stride. It's not his first time a woman's tried to kill him, I'm sure. So he picks her up and takes her back to Mr. Moose. So surprisingly enough, that whole situation just kind of sorted itself out, as a lot of these disputes do. And like your session, not the last session, but the session before, mine ends in a planning session as to what they're going to do with some spells being cast. One of my guys cast contact mind, the spell that you had, contact mind of the outsider or something like that.
Is that the one where they get the
Yithian?
Yeah.
They contact the Yithian, right? So I had this guy contact a Yithian and ask, it was great. You can't make this up. He asked very time-related questions to a Yithian. Like, when did this all begin? So literally the Yithian, like ripped the mind, guy. I described it as your mind is ripped apart as he takes you back to like essentially the moment of the Big Bang, right? That's how it all started, right? And but then he comes back and he just like all of that has been kind of blocked away in this person's mind, and so they're still like very unsettled. But and then they ask, when did Nyarlathotep begin this? Same sort of answer. And so after two of those, there were no more questions that were asked of the outsider. But that was just a hilarious use of a spell. Just the worst possible question you can ask a very, very time-based entity like a Yithian. I had a blast with it. But so we are ended my session on the shores.
On the cusp. You're on the cusp.
They are on their approach to Grey Dragon Island, getting ready for some serious action. I'm going to print out those beautiful maps that you created and have those on the table. And it's going to be an action-packed, crazy, crazy time. It's
going to be if you can get them in there. Now, how are they getting to the island?
They are not as fortunate as your team to have the fancy aeroplane. They're just taking a boat.
Okay, a regular boat, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, well that'll be fine. Well,
yeah.
Well, and now it's going to be they're going to have a great time. It's going to take the whole session.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely.
It'll take the whole session. And I ran a time limit on the planning when we started. I say, okay. We're starting at 7, and I play longer than you. We start at 7:30 and we end at 10:30.
Okay.
So I let them have an hour of planning and bullshit, and of course there's interaction because they're talking with Jack, and I'm running Jack and Mu Hassan and like all of the other NPCs, the allies. There's the Chi Min or whatever the dude's name is, and there's Mei Ling. Right.
There's a bunch of people, and I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that combat, but it's going to be very fast and loose and, cinematic, right, as opposed to rolling the dice out.
Yeah. Well, I did it with minis and the big battle maps and turn-based, and I was prepared. I had my sheet with all of when it came around. The way that we do it is whoever makes the best dex roll starts the round, and then it just goes around the table. None of this flipping back and forth or anything, that is a suggested way to do decks in the core rules.
Okay.
And that works well for us. So when it comes to me, all the villains go. So I had the villains' actions in order. So when it came to me, I was not hunting for anything. I knew what they did.
Gotcha.
De boop, de boop, de boop, de boop, de boop.
Okay,
And,
sure. No, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, that took 2 hours. I mean, that still took 2 hours.
Yeah.
But as the viewers remember from last session, we had a climactic ending. So Bob, I've been spending my time prepping Nairobi.
Prepping Nairobi. All right. Yeah. Well, this is okay. So again, I'm going to play the old man card here. Or the old hat. I've done this. I've been there, done that in Kenya 3 times now.
Yeah.
Interested to hear what your thoughts are.
Well, I'm first. Nairobi is the slimmest chapter in the book.
Yep.
There's not really a lot in Nairobi. There's no, and now, part of that is refreshing.
Yeah.
There's no finding out where the cult is or who are the cultists or any of that stuff. In fact, there's a herd of cultists coming to go to the big ritual. It's at what is it? The
Mountain of the Black Wind.
Yeah, the Mountain of the Black Wind. Okay.
Yeah, no, seriously, it's like a cult convention, right?
Okay, so here I've got my big Nyarlathotep book, right? The core book. There's some films suggested in this, and I have access to a lot of films through some friends that we can just dial up and watch at the house, royalty free, shall we say?
We're not. Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. Go ahead.
So I loaded up and I watched in order. King Solomon's Mines, 1950. She, 1965. Congo, 1995. Oh. Those are the 3 films that are suggested.
Congo? Seriously?
Congo. Seriously. But
I was just not watching that.
I really would recommend, folks, if you're going to run this son of a bitch, watch King Solomon's Mine.
That sounds good.
Because first off, it's really cool. It's shot in 1950. They really went to Africa and they went to Uganda and they really shot this shit. There's not CGI leopards in the film or rhinos. They're real fucking rhinos. But that film shows the effort involved of going inland.
Okay.
Which this unfortunately kind of skimps on.
Okay.
It says it takes 6 days to walk to the mountains. Yeah, right. 6 days through an African tropical rainforest.
Oh, wow. Yeah, sure.
That's not a walk in the park. Up to 1,000 cultists moving through it as well. Yes. I mean, there's opportunity there. Then because I have access to a variety of books, I found a copy of Jomo Kenyatta's Facing Mount Kenya.
Oh, wow.
So Jojo Kenyatta they can meet him.
Yep. Johnstone Kenyatta at that point, right? That was his name at that point.
They can meet him. So I've read this.
That's awesome, man.
And it's good. It's an interesting way of thinking about the indigenous religious practices and the plethora of ceremonies and spells that they have.
Oh my gosh.
And it really is an interesting dive into, their culture, but a foreign setting.
Yeah, right. Well, that's very good. See, now, viewers, that's a great prep there. I may watch a YouTube video. Maybe.
So I've also been close reading the text, and it gets pretty. It's funny the advice, the direct advice and the indirect advice that's offered in the chapter. Mm-hmm. I read this way the spell, the Eye of Light and Darkness works.
Yeah.
The spell, and you have to cast it on the night of a full moon.
Yeah. Or whenever I want it to be cast.
And typically the cult ceremonies are on the darkest night of the month, which is the full moon, which is about 2 weeks on the other side of things.
Yeah.
So, Bob, you and I have been hand waving this, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I've been telling the players that all of the ceremonies, as we go through, are on the darkest night of the moon. So they have picked it up.
Yeah.
So they've kind of calculated when the darkest nights they have calculated in 1925 when the full moons are, and they are not full moons, new moons.
New moon, yeah.
And they are anticipating that. And I
nice.
I actually think that's good.
Okay.
Because we ended in Shanghai, and they've got to get on a boat that's going to take 6 to 8 weeks.
Yep.
To get to Mombasa, and then they're going to have to go upland to Nairobi, and then they've got to trek through the jungle.
Yeah.
And what I'm thinking of is really how to focus on the details of all of this, like the interactions with the different NPCs. I like that there's really only one antagonist on the way, that they are plagued by the witch, whatever her name is, Tar, I think.
Yep.
An interesting aside, I have 7 players, 7 investigators. When those 7 investigators met the Cult of the Bloody Tongue in New York, they left survivors.
Okay.
So those survivors could have easily gotten a hold of Mwuru.
Oh, yeah.
And told them about these 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, for sure. No, I'm thinking back. There were definitely survivors. Because my players only killed the shopkeeper and the high priest. They were the only ones there. So there's definitely survivors.
So word got back to Mwuru. Yeah. Interestingly enough, in my campaign, 5 of those 7 initial investigators are dead.
Oh. Great.
And the 5 that are showing, the 7 that are showing up, 5 of them are brand new faces. There's absolutely no way Mwuru could know about it, unless you think, okay, the magic and Nyarlathotep and sure. But really, though, I've been thinking the players could have a real advantage here.
Yeah.
They know a lot about things. They are going to find out about Mwuru.
Yeah.
They know the timing of things. They can anticipate when whatever ritual is going to happen. I'm going to give them that.
Yeah. Interesting.
And if they can get in there 2 weeks before the dark of the moon, where the new moon
is. That's a great idea, yeah.
And if they can cast the light and darkness spell, I'm going to let it work.
Yeah.
It will prevent Nyarlathotep from showing up at the mountain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, that's great. I love that idea. I really do. I may steal it, right? But
it's not going to prevent the spawn from being born, because the spawn being born is kind of the big punch of the Nairobi chapter.
Oh, it's going to be horrible.
And I know it's your favorite beat in the whole campaign,
it is.
I do not think Nairobi is intended as a final chapter.
I think you're probably right. I don't think it was, but I think that it should be, right? I agree with you. I don't think that Nairobi is intended to be but it should be, right? Thematically, it should be, right? And my plane is going to land in Nairobi, and that's going to be the culmination of that thing. Because I'm very, I like patterns and I like symmetry, and it started there. It's going to end there, right? I think that there's beautiful things along the way. There's that crazy stuff that happens in Egypt, right? There's, the Shanghai chapter is amazing, but the symmetry for me, going back to where it all began, is really a big deal.
So now it's like a nice wrap around there.
Yes, the payoff and the execution then falls on us, because, as you stated, the chapter in and of itself is not intended to be the finale, right?
I don't think it is. I know that people are going to say, and they're right, that the way it's written, any chapter could be the culmination.
Sure.
But I think that's more fluff than fact. I think
you couldn't end in England.
It would be hard to. And I thought about this, Bob. If I were to run this again, now this is a discussion we'll have when we're all said and done. If I were to run masks again, I would not run it the way we're running it right now, only because I've run it this way.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I would try a different experiment. I would purposefully steer the order of chapters, and I don't think I would give the players that choice.
Okay. Well, I mean, I did not. I did not intentionally steer. I may have unintentionally steered the chapter, but I did not have to do any sort of manipulation, right? They chose to go to Shanghai next. And I think that is not anything I did. I think it's on the strength of the clues that have been added to the game, right? The stuff they found at Henson Manufacturing, all of that stuff points, there's just stronger ties to Shanghai.
There's a lot more pointing at Shanghai. There's a lot pointing at Shanghai. I agree. Yeah. No, they never even thought about going to Kenya. The conversation came up, well, it's in Africa like Egypt is. But still, they just thought, oh, you know what it is, too? It's the chance to save Jack Brady. Yep. And they got that in England. In England, there's the clue about what are we going to do about Brady. So when they realized they could still save Brady, when they couldn't save Jackson, everybody else is dead.
Yep.
That's what really peppered their heels to get to Shanghai.
So, yeah, I think that, we are, embellishing maybe a little by making, or at least myself, embellishing a little, making Kenya the culmination. But I think that for atmosphere and for, again, I don't know what my players are going to do. You have a better idea what your players are going to do. But, it gives kind of a both sides of the coin there. Your players have a lot of initiative and a lot of information where they can be, initiating the action, right, as opposed to being reactive, which is a cool thing for them. And they also can execute a plan as opposed to being reactive to a plan, right?
Yeah.
They have their ceremony that they're going to do, right? I mean, in effect, they are going to do a ceremony, whereas the cults typically do ceremony. So I think it's fantastic.
Well, we'll find out how it all works. And with Houston dead in my campaign, there's no going to Australia.
Sure.
So I'm looking at landing masks. I betcha 3 sessions.
3 sessions. All right. Well,
I bet you there's going to be a session of Shanghai, and that's what we're going to do next week. There's going to be a session of wrap up Shanghai, go to Africa, go to Mombasa, go to Nairobi. Then I think there's going to be a screw around in Nairobi because there's lots of people to talk to.
Yeah.
I am absolutely going to use the witch trying to hunt them down because I think a single witch opponent could be creepy.
Mm-hmm. Especially if they
Yeah, just to be plagued by those fire vampires. We'll have to see. To see.
All right. Well,
and
that's a lot.
And then one session in the mountain, and then.
Well, we'll see. We shall see. All right. Well, I haven't checked recently, but the last time I did check, 197 subscribers. That's good. We can get to 200. All right. All right. Land this plane, Matt.
Click like and subscribe and share this to your friends. Now, nobody's going to know if you make a fake account and subscribe to us. No, who would know?
5,000 fake accounts.
Who would know? Who would know? We've had Russian bots knocking on the door asking if they can join. We've said no so far, but to get our numbers up.
All right. Thank you all.